This is a Headgum podcast.
Water. Where am I leave it to the guest. You got couch or chair, whatever makes you feel better.
I think that we're more looking at each other if it's like
you want
this.
that?
Yeah,
I think we're focused for. Is that cool?
Yeah, well, you could adjust the cameras. It was cool.
All right.
Does that not make sense?
We're
gonna do it like this.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You can do.
Yeah.
You
This
can
is
do whatever.
good.
Yeah. Okay.
These Elgato mic arms are great.
Oh, thank you so much. I worked so hard on these, and everybody was going, "You're a fool. Why are you doing it?"
Right.
You know. And
It's not the industry standard.
No, it's not. That's the thing. It's not industry standard. But I'm like, hey, F it. Think outside the envelope. You know, there's
I
an
have
envelope.
all kinds of problems with the OC ones.
The OC ones, the Orange
which are
County.
the industry standard. Here, these are considerably cheaper, simpler, and in my view, more effective.
Well, there you go.
You're hired?
Yeah. And you can do the read the ad copy for.
Yeah. They did decline to be a sponsor of my podcast.
Oh, that's crazy. And yet, I'll tell you, that speaks volumes about your character. That you're not petty, you're not vindictive.
Right.
You know, you even though they refused you, and they were really rude about it too.
Yeah.
They were not pleasant.
Yeah.
I saw that rejection letter when they stuck it up on that billboard. But yeah, they were.
Yeah.
That's great that you still give them thumbs up and you.
That's right, man. I back it. So, this is new. This
brand new,
show,
yeah.
Brand new.
I did not have this going. Oh, I might have told you about it though when I did your podcast.
Perhaps, yeah. And we've been saving your episode to upload together.
Look at this guy. This guy's
Money. It's helpful. It's helpful when you've got, driving traffic towards each other.
Sure, absolutely. Well, let's give a plug for your podcast.
Yeah. Is it? I asked. We're going. There's no intro.
Nope.
How about that, ladies and gentlemen?
As soon as you walk in the room.
I've recently sworn off saying "ladies and gentlemen."
Why?
I haven't been very effective at it.
Why have you sworn it off?
Well, because it's not politically correct anymore. Ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, come on.
Ladies and gentlemen does not sum it up. So I've switched to people of the universe.
Oh, what a fucking weird California hippie pussy thing.
I mean, I don't much mind either way. But people of the universe, here we are. And
So when you say that, that's going not just to people on this planet and this solar system and this galaxy.
Right.
It's going beyond the Milky Way.
Right.
Do you think whatever it takes, how long it takes for that sound to travel, let's say, about 42 and a half light years, you think people will be going like, hey, hang on, did Steve-O just...
yeah.
I think Steve-O from Planet Earth is... I want to get back in touch, but, I mean, he probably said this, a billion years ago.
Right, but even though Neil deGrasse Tyson told me that time is in fact a thing, I'm not sure I agree with him.
So, I was going to say you need another human being with accreditation to tell you that time is a thing.
I just, in quantum theory, everything is all... There's just now. There's just one moment of now. And there's all infinite, every possible outcome, every possible circumstance, it all exists somehow. And I submit that light years is not a thing.
Well, but it's a measurement of time, isn't it?
Right. What Neil deGrasse Tyson told me is that he was going to
put... with Neil deGrasse Tyson. Why don't we get him on the fucking show?
He said that he would put it to rest by asking me if I wanted to meet up tomorrow. And I said, well, yeah, sure. He says, all right, well, then how does that happen? You need a where and a when. They're coordinates.
Did you? So Chick-fil-A on corner of Sunset. And I don't understand. I'm being serious here.
Yeah.
I don't understand the how needing a where and a when kind of negates the meeting, or what? I don't understand.
Right. Well, it's coordinates. That for anything, he was like the coordinates of space and time. But it just doesn't. It doesn't.
Wait, Steve. Wait. Go back to that example.
Yeah.
Because I don't understand hey, I'm going to blow your mind with the concept of time. And I'm going to prove it to you.
Says, how are we going to meet up if we don't have a time and a place?
But you do have a time and a place. You could if you wanted to, and then you could meet up.
Right, but without if time was not a thing, then we would not have a way to meet up.
Well, time is just a word to describe the passage of what we call time, right?
Right.
So, and again, I'm not trying to be funny or anything. I don't understand you.
Okay.
I don't understand what you're saying.
See, what I'm trying to kind of get past is the problem of, okay, well, if the beginning was Big Bang, well, then what banged? What was before that? What was before?
Right.
You can always ask, well, what was before that?
Sure.
And there's just no way to resolve that. So at one point, I was under the influence of various substances, and I had this deep thought that when they first invented the sailboat, they were legitimately scared of falling off the end of the world because they believed that the world was flat. And the deep thought that I had was that we are in a similar situation now, thinking that time is somehow flat and that you could fall off either end because there's a beginning or an end. But the deep thought is just like the world is round, time is round. It doesn't have a beginning or an end. And I thought that was pretty awesome.
Have you gone back to your high self and had a conversation?
It's been a long time. It's been over.
Well, a long time. Wait a second, buddy.
Right.
Hey, you're all over the place. You're sending mixed messages.
Yeah. but in any case, it's important stuff to think about, man.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'm not. Again, I don't know. I know Neil deGrasse Tyson's. I've seen him on talk shows and things like that. I haven't really listened to a study. I'm sure there's a lot that I would find fascinating, I wish it did, but my brain doesn't grasp that kind of.
Right.
I can get a fact at a time or two at a time, but when I don't make the connections that are needed to make to go from point A to if string theory, and then that gets us to this thing. I'm not good at that.
Right. Do you believe in reincarnation?
No.
Or you don't?
No.
Because as I understand it, there's some pretty irrefutable evidence. Like, for example, there have been little kids who were recognizing people in photographs, oh, that's me, or that's my car that and
Well, I don't think that's evidence, though. I mean, there are it would be crazy and mind-blowing, if my daughter who's 6 was like, oh yeah, that's my car from when I was
right.
I was a Cuban exile. Did you not know that, Father? And I'd be like, when did you start saying father? That'd be the first thing I'd say. Then I'd go back to, wait a second, when are you talking about a Cuban exile?
I think I'm gonna do a deep dive on this reincarnation thing because I gotta know. I mean,
but you think it'll be proven? Do you think you can prove it? Yes or no?
I think that there's a pretty strong argument that these anecdotal pieces of evidence, are irrefutable. But I don't know. I gotta get brushed up on it.
I'm gonna refute the shit out of it.
Yeah.
It's. I think it's an interesting like a lot of stuff that I don't necessarily believe in, I think it's an interesting thing to think, and I can see why people think it. I don't know that I wouldn't say that there's evidence for it. It's circumstantial if it is. And throughout the years, people swear they've seen ghosts, right? Swear it, and I don't believe in ghosts. I'm afraid of ghosts, but I don't believe in them.
Okay. Now, there was a psychic situation, and I've never been big into believing about psychics, but my father, with my stepmother, went and saw a psychic, and the psychic told my father that his first wife, that because her ashes had not been deliberately sprinkled, that she was somehow trapped. And then the psychic would have no way of knowing that his first wife had passed, let alone that her urn with her ashes had been sitting on the top shelf of my sister's closet for like over a year at that point, just because we hadn't come up with a really great idea for how to spread her ashes. And I mean, that just felt pretty specific. And I'm like, my natural inclination is to be a skeptic. Maybe not, but that just felt like pretty strong evidence that the psychic was onto something there.
Well, they have, and they have for generations and generations, they're quite skilled at picking things up and getting information without your understanding they're doing so. And that has been proven. There have been people who've debunked.
Sure, wasn't Houdini's whole deal?
That was one of his, the seance. He debunked seances. And and then there's James Randi, I believe his name is, who was a magician who went, and that became his focus. Would you look that up, Casey? I just want to make sure I'm getting the name right. He passed a couple years ago, but James Randi, and there's a guy currently, there's a number of people, but a guy named Darren Brown in London who's amazing, a mentalist. And they can show you the kind of tricks that people use. And I've been to a bunch of Darren's shows, and it's disturbing and fascinating and mind-blowing how what he can get people to do. You or me, people who would go, I don't think that's going to work on me. And just by this is a shitty version of it, but by looking at you on a certain word and repeating synonyms for a certain word and pointing or putting my finger, just little things that you would never catch, can get you to do something that you would otherwise not normally ever do.
Is the Long Island medium a mentalist? Have you heard of this person?
No.
Wildly successful individual, selling out huge theaters.
What's his or her name?
It's a her.
Teresa something.
Teresa Caputo.
That's it.
Teresa
The Long
Caputo.
Island Mental. I've never heard of her.
Long Island medium, and she's a psychic.
Medium, right.
She's a psychic and just sells out huge theaters. And I don't know. Check this out. With respect to my mom's ashes, when I was in rehab, there was something or other. We were having some little group thing. An older man who was also a patient in the rehab. I badly offended this guy. I had some off-the-cuff remark about how, I really was serious about my sobriety. I never want to snort anything up my nose ever again, except maybe my mom's ashes, or maybe that makes sense. And this was wildly offensive to this older man. And when we finally did decide that we were going to spread my mom's ashes at sea, we chartered a boat. and it was kind of a choppy day, but we went through with it. And I opened up the ashes. I was out on the front of the boat. I think that's the bow. And I threw them. And right as I threw them, like a gust of wind, like kind of blew them into my face. And I.
So you did.
I did.
Yeah, you predicted the future.
I just started laughing. I was like, wow, Mom, I think my mom would find that pretty funny. That,
Yeah,
like,
you did a bump of your mom.
yeah,
Did you go back to that old guy and go, hey, guess what, pal?
I did not, and I'm not somebody who really chooses to be offensive or hurt people's feelings. That's not my style of comedy. Like, you know,
Yeah,
even though
you heard-
I'm imminently, I'm kind of having a tug of war with my team about whether or not to release onto the internet something that people are likely to find offensive.
Offensive is one thing, but to be hurtful,
Right.
You know, punching down, I have a problem with that. That's my own
Right.
personal thing. Like, and there's a lot of it in stand-up, and I don't have much respect for it. And people that I really admire and like, and I think are just brilliant comedians or writers, and you know, when they do that stuff, it's like, man, what are you doing? You know, it's that's my own guideline, you know. And and in the past I've said kind of hurtful things, and I used to be pretty staunchly like, well, fuck it, I don't care if you can't take a joke, you know. But if I can't really defend it, and I think about it, and I go, if there's no, I'm not saying anything with this joke,
Right.
It's just hurtful. So
Okay, let me run it by you.
Okay.
The premise for the video for YouTube was
I'm sorry, I want to clarify. You have done this, or you were?
I have done it. I have
done it.
not published it.
Got it.
The premise was to go on this this platform called Cameo, where celebrities will record shout out videos.
Yeah.
And you know, submit requests to various celebrities, asking them to say and to do questionable, if not terrible, things. And our first offering was to Mark McGrath, the singer of Sugar Ray, where we asked him to pretend that he had Tourette's syndrome and read a message for us.
Wait, does he know what Steve-O?
No.
This is great. I love this idea. Oh my god.
Right. He declined. He declined to do it.
Right.
But
Someone somewhere.
but
Andy Dick will do it
we,
for $1.
We took the same request and we sent it to our new Jackass cast member, Poopies, who's notoriously a little bit low on the IQ spectrum, and he did. It was, I mean, we were laughing out loud, like at this, you know. But dude, my fiance, she feels pretty strongly that this, you know, like making a joke out of Tourette's is going to be hurtful. I mean, it's gonna like get me in
it's
trouble.
tricky. Fucking fiancés though, they're the bane.
We did a bunch of them that were really fucking funny, and they all got denied by the celebrity we requested, but then we passed them on to Poopies. he did them all.
I think maybe, let's see if this, maybe if you couch it in the idea that this is offensive. We understand that.
Right.
And kudos to all these different people who passed on this and assumed that they wouldn't do it because it was offensive. But here's a guy who doesn't give a shit, and he did it.
Right.
And then maybe it's about, not so much about the thing he did, even though you'll laugh at it. It's about the social
I
experiment,
mean, he's
as it
just
were.
so lovable and innocent. I don't see how you could possibly be mad at Poopies. We sent another request to David Arquette. Saying that it was from a guy named Brad or something like that. Saying, hey, man, like my girlfriend and I got pregnant, and you know she's really determined to keep the baby, but we're just not in a position to start a family. So could we get you to make a video trying to trying to urge her.
I
to
love
get
this idea, man. I would watch this for an hour weekly. Absolutely. This is great, Steve-O. You are onto something.
Yeah, thanks.
I love it.
We got the most thoughtful, personal message from David Arquette typing. There's different ways celebrities can decline to do cameos, and this one was, hey, I just can't do that. I feel that it's the woman's choice, and he kind of like leaned into us, like saying, I wish you would be a little bit more. If you think about this a little bit more, And
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, Poopies had no problem. He had no problem. He even recited the script that we wrote for him, which included, let's yank this bun out of the oven.
Was he serious? Did he approach it in a serious way?
Not only, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Steve-O, you gotta,
Hey,
I want to see these. Where
I've been getting some texts coming up. We might even have.
Oh my God.
Oh, wow, we've got
one of 'em.
thumbnails.
Yes, thumbnails ain't gonna.
No, I know. Of course not.
Oh man, that's such a great idea. How many do you have? Are you like banking a bunch of these? And
I'll tell you some other ones we did. We asked Dennis Rodman to stuff his penis and testicles back behind his legs in a mangina position, and say, "Hey, check out my man pussy." He wouldn't do it.
why?
We knew Poopies would.
So you're starting to write these now just for.
I mean, well, not so
Poopies.
but we bumped it up for Poopies. We
Right.
said, "Hey, Poopies, our grandma just died. And, the last time she ever laughed was watching you in the Jackass movie, and we want to make a video. We want you to make a video to play at her funeral." And we just want you to make her laugh one last time, so if you can stuff your penis in her balls. Say, "Hey, Grandma, tell Grandma how much it means to you that you made her laugh." Say, "Hey, Grandma, check out my man pussy." And we added on, "Say hi to Jesus for me." Yeah,
Does he know that the other celebrities wouldn't do it?
no,
he has no idea.
no. Yeah, he's not privy to that.
Okay, so have you thought of get a bunch of these, and then get them, in a room and go?
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm trying to
go ahead.
Try to be better at my conversational etiquette. Lindsay Lohan. We asked her to do some accents because we're very impressed by her acting. So, in a British accent, could you please say that Elton John is a talentless diva? And then in an Irish accent, can you say Conor McGregor is a washed-up bitch boy? And then in a Chinese accent, can you say Jackie Chan plays ping pong with his ding dong? And my girl feels really strongly that the Chinese accent part should be taken out because it'll get me in trouble. But you think it will?
It's not going to get you in trouble. Listen, I'm.
Poopy's tried so hard. He did.
Did he do it?
Yeah. Yeah.
God damn it!
Yeah, he did.
That's
that.
just brilliant. I've. By the time this goes out, this will be over. But I'm at the end of this long tour I've been doing since March, and one of the bits is I asked somebody to come up on stage and read a script with me. And there's two scripts. The first one is a script about reading the script, which they don't know when they're coming up. And it's just me and the other person. They're like, "Oh, my name is Shonda Vitchamarillion," and then I go, and it's all scripted. And then she's like, "Look, can we do this script where your kid talks to the homeschooled kid from Florida? I got to take my insulin shot pretty soon." And I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know you had diabetes." Then they say, "I don't. I just really love glucose. Can't get enough of it." I go, "Is that a joke?" They're like, "Yeah, pretty funny, right? Can I open for you?" And then they go on. They go, "I would do that joke twice." I go, "Twice? Yeah, once in Mandarin." And then, "Look, can we do this script or not?" I go, "Yeah, I want to hear that joke in Mandarin first, though." And I think by the time this finishes, it'll be 74 shows, and I would say only 10 times has somebody tried to do it or not had a, awkward moment. Because they wouldn't, even though it's it's not live, it's not recorded, it's a theater audience, and they wouldn't even try.
It wasn't intended to be said in Mandarin. It just
it's up to them to interpret what it is. They were like, "Can we do the script?" They're reading off a script that says, "Can we do the script?" And I say, "Yeah, sure, but I want to hear you do that joke in Mandarin first." Yeah. And then people, like 90% of the time, be like, I go, "Go ahead. What does it sound like?"
But
they wouldn't do it.
To me, it sounds like they're declining to do that because they don't speak Mandarin.
No, dude. Believe me, I'm up there with them. They're all like, it's like, I'll get canceled. I'll get in trouble. I go, well, what would it sound like? I can't. I don't know. Well, you said you would do it. Well, I don't, whatever.
I'll tell you, the great Dave Chappelle, I had a chance encounter with him many years ago, 2005, or maybe it was 2006 or 2007. I was excited to meet him. I said, man, I think I might have got myself in some trouble. I think my life might genuinely be in danger because I got mixed up with these scary gangster rapper people known as the G Unit. And I just went into their studio and just started hurling insults and threats at all of their rivals. I really said some terrible things and threatening and insulting, about these, murderous, scary gangster rap people. And Dave's response was, he said, "Nah, man, you're Steve-O. You got diplomatic immunity." and I've carried that close to my heart ever since. And now I feel compelled to put Dave's theory to the test. I think,
What would is this like? Was this aired? Was this or did you just do it?
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh yeah, it came out on a G Unit mixtape.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was deliberately getting people's names wrong, and
And so they're recording in a studio, and you happen to go in there and go, "Hey,
who are we beefing with?"
Right.
I want to know. I want in.
Oh man, that's ballsy.
Yeah, that was it. It was.
Now I'm gonna ask you a question.
Okay.
And if you don't answer if you don't say the thing that I'm thinking of, I'm gonna cut you off.
Okay.
And I'm going to, and you'll see why. Steve-O, what is the nastiest thing you've ever eaten? Or tasted, I should say.
Whew. That's a real toss-up.
Take your time.
I'm going to go with a cup of my buddy's sweat, which we collected.
Okay, I'm going to say it's not.
Okay.
Because, oh boy, when was this? I think this would have been like late 90s, maybe, early aughts. I'm not sure, but I was shooting something, and Knoxville was shooting something as well, whatever. And he came to my trailer. And this is back in the days of VHS tape, so maybe 90s. And he showed me
drinking bong water.
No. Oh, God.
Yeah, I drank really murky bong water.
Oh, oof. Both of those things. No, this was a sketch that y'all did when it was the, TV show.
The Vomlet.
Yes, the Vomlet.
Yeah,
that Vomlet. Never aired. And it was, I think about it occasionally, and it's one of the purest forms of comedy I've ever seen. It is disgusting. Like it's Two Girls in a Cup level, but it's brilliant. And it's really. Do you want to describe it for the folks?
Yeah,
because we never got to see it.
It was something that we were in Miami. was a rainy day.
That's another great part about it is like you all are like in some shitty Holiday Inn hotel room, which just makes it even better.
Yeah.
All right.
And our day of shooting was compromised by rain. So what are we gonna do? Dave England said, "Oh, I've got an idea. I will eat the ingredients of an omelet, you know, and then I will barf the ingredients into a frying pan and fry it up, and somebody eats it." And I don't know if that idea had even been submitted.
Oh, it's amazing.
I think it was just one of these things that just happened on the fly.
But there's more to it because he does that. You eat it and then you vomit.
Yeah.
And so it's like this ping-ponging and everybody's like vomit. It's like when Lance, whenever Lance starts to get dry heave. I
had my second comedy special was a little bit of a multimedia thing. And so I had bits that I shot for it. One of the bits, because my father is notoriously homophobic.
Really?
He was disgusted by the idea that I would insert a toy car up my butt.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
And I backed out of that stunt. At the premiere for that movie, my dad went up to the Jackass.
I'm sorry, was that 1 or 2 or?
That was for the first one. Movie.
First one, yeah.
At the premiere, when everybody was leaving the theater, my dad saw the Jackass director Jeff Tremaine, and he said, "Hey Jeff, I just want to clarify. I was never concerned about Steve's safety with the toy car up his butt. I'm just extremely homophobic."
He said it just like that, like
yeah. He just wanted to clarify that. And
he acts like it's like a like it's a mole he can't have removed or something.
Right. Yeah. You know.
I just got back from the doctors. Turns out I'm homophobic. I don't know. There's no medicine or anything. I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna live with it. What do you say to him? And what does he say? Like,
this was in another era. But you got to understand, we're a lot older now.
Has he mellowed out on it, or?
Yeah, I think he has.
I
think I've beaten him down quite a bit over the years. But so we had my dad was in town visiting, and I had this idea to sit my dad down under a ruse, a fake premise.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was gonna sit my dad down and interview him about veggie burgers or some kind of vegan food. Meanwhile, my Jackass buddy Chris Pontius was in the bathroom vigorously servicing himself with a condom on. So he ejaculated into the condom and then came out of the bathroom. He tied it in a knot. Came out of the bathroom and just interrupted me interviewing my dad on camera to hand me this condom with like a huge
fresh
load.
Yeah.
And and so then I swallowed it.
Oh.
In front of my dad. Just to get my dad. I said, "Dad, I'm not doing this to hurt you." He said, "No, you're not gonna hurt me. You're gonna piss me off."
Oh, dude.
Yeah, and so then I ended up. Dad was still staying at my house the next day. Record time. It was the very next day. I pooped it out into, and pulled it out of the toilet. Came running upstairs. And said, "Dad, check it out! It already came out. It already came out." I'm holding it up, and I was getting ready to tape that special when I showed Tony Hinchcliffe. The bit, and I maybe mentioned that I saved this poop-covered condom that had passed through my system, and Tony said, "Dude, you got to swallow it."
Yeah, we all know where this is going.
I swallowed it again. As far as like the vomit story reminded me of that. It's what I'm about, Dave, dude.
Yeah, I
boundaries.
appreciate it.
Pushing
You
boundaries.
brought me a lot of joy and laughs, and I appreciate it. All you guys are. I remember. So the first movie, my then girlfriend, I was living in New York. My then girlfriend had the idea, like, because we wanted to go see it, but she's like, let's go to like Jersey City and see it with that audience, as it could be wild, which we did, and it was pretty crazy. Like a lot of
what makes Jersey City different?
The demographic is a little
I was looking
little
for you.
tanner, you know.
I was looking for you to react like the Mandarin joke people.
Yeah. No, it was like, I guess some people might say inner city.
Okay.
But it was really fun. And just people screaming and yelling and like,
Yeah.
oh shit, son, what the, and it was great, a great way to see that movie. And then the second one I watched at Lance's house, Lance Bangs.
Oh, I love Lance.
Yeah, Lance is great, a mutual friend, and we were on the road. This would have been 2000. Oh,
It
where
came
were we?
out in
We were in
2006, the second one.
okay. So we were. Didn't come out. It hadn't come out yet. We had.
Okay.
We were watching a. Must have been touring. Had to have been.
You're
And
watching
I was
a pirated.
yes. At Lance's house, and Corin and the rest of Slater Kinney were there, and we were there with some. I think we were probably doing a comedy festival. I'm going to guess, or something, because there was a couple of us, and the ladies didn't care for it.
Yeah,
They
I
did
bet.
not, and it was a much different experience than seeing it in
Jersey
Jersey City.
City.
Yeah, they could. I was fucking loving it, and I mean, I love all of them, but
Now, I've heard about people barfing in Jackass movie theaters. But one thing I've never heard about is people fainting, like losing consciousness.
yeah.
Never heard about that as a result of a Jackass movie. But on my most recent tour, which was a multimedia experience, literally all over the world, people were passing out cold in the audience.
What do you think that? What do you attribute that
There
to?
were multiple culprits because each bit had a video associated with it, and the main culprit was a bit called the Vasectomy Olympics. Now, vasectomies are not that invasive of a surgery. It's really like kind of underwhelming.
Have you had one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Vasectomy Olympics was it was classic.
Did you do it for the bit?
Yeah. I mean, I wanted a vasectomy anyway.
Right. I would hope so.
Yeah. Yeah. Then there's another one where it's an epidural foot race.
Wait. Go back to the vasectomy
Okay, yeah.
Olympics. How does that? How do you place?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're the only one in a competition, you definitely win,
Sure. Okay.
and you come in first and last place. So, but it was an idea that I had for forever since I was a young boy, and I heard a joke. What is the definition of macho? It's a man who jogs home from his own vasectomy. And I remembered that joke and just thought, oh, well, I got to do way more than jog. So the idea was I'd get the vasectomy and then go bareback horseback riding and various other challenges. And ultimately, we dressed me up as a piñata.
Oh my God.
Dressed me up as a piñata and hung me upside down from a tree and had a bunch of little kids whack me, and then that's when
Oh my God.
yeah. We really kept at it until we had like a visual payoff, of my balls appearing to.
Split. And
It was no, not split. It was just that my balls looked like a plum, like the same color as a plum.
did candy come out?
No candy came out, but it's just great. It was a funny bit, it was a great bit. And an epidural is, of course, where you have a 4-inch needle in your spine, and they inject a drug in your spinal cavity to paralyze you. And
Oh, Steve-O, you're.
I
Okay,
did
I
that.
can see the I can see it.
Yeah, and
Because I'm getting a little queasy just thinking about it.
it's a real point of pride for me. I mean, it's like you never want people to get hurt or or
Right.
bad things to happen, but it's also like a point of pride that I really raised the bar with this this new show, and man, am I proud of it. It's such an awesome show with the Vasectomy Olympics, the Skyjacking.
Okay, skyjacking.
This was the thing that I was afraid to go skydiving.
Right.
I have an irrational fear.
Now that is interesting.
Yeah,
I'm
I don't.
surprised
I don't
by
like
it.
bungee. I don't like bungee jumping. I don't want to be on roller coasters. I just
Roller
don't
coasters.
Like, I can't stand it.
You will hang upside down after a vasectomy and get whacked in
Yeah.
the nuts until a doctor comes and calls it.
All day
but
long.
you will not ride a roller coaster.
Correct. And we're actually going to film me on a roller coaster in less than a week. And I'm so bummed about it.
I love roller
I'm
coasters.
so bummed about it. I'd like.
Steve-O,
It's just a weird thing. I don't like it.
at least you know it's irrational. At least you
Yeah.
know it's irrational. That's I guess a step in.
People would be inclined to not believe me when I say that I'm afraid of these things. But
I'm surprised. I'm shocked. Yeah.
there was an early episode, or maybe not that early, but a long time ago, 2003 or 4. We were filming Wild Boys, our little homoerotic nature show in Costa Rica. And one of the bits on our production schedule was to go throw me off of, or no, not throw me off, just go bungee jumping. For me to go bungee jumping, with a 200-foot bridge, and they built me these prop wings, like Condor Man wings, for me to try to fly. That was the bit. And I told them on the way there, I said, guys, you could not find somebody on like the Real World or Road Rules or any of those people's mothers who are going to be more afraid of jumping off a bridge, bungee jumping, than I will be. I'm just telling you. And then we got there and I was like, I'm not doing it. I will not do it. And
nobody believed you.
no, they realized ultimately they talked me into. They said, we've got 5 Costa Rican guys who are willing to do what's called a mafia toss, where they'll pick you up and throw you. You don't have to do anything. And I did go for that because it didn't involve me jumping. I would not have been able to jump. So because I have this irrational fear and for like 20 years, whenever skydiving came up in conversation, I always said, oh man,
No.
my way of getting out of skydiving was to say, oh man, everybody does that. Dude, come on, skydiving, that's not a stunt. And then I would go on to say, if I ever go skydiving, I'm going to be
You jerk off when you're
butt-ass naked
Yeah.
and furiously masturbating with another man strapped to my back. And I'll time it so that simultaneously, as I fall out of the airplane, I'm ejaculating all over the place into the wind. And when it came time for me to put together this last show, I was like, I got to film all new stuff, crazier than ever, make this wild multimedia show. I got to do it. I got to go skyjacking.
It's called, we've introduced the phrase into the lexicon.
Yeah.
I got to go skyjacking.
Yep. And I consider skyjacking to be the crown jewel of my career.
Wow.
I'll tell you why. Because it was so challenging logistically. I mean, just
And the timing of it. Like, how do you...
not only the timing of it, but like it had to happen within a precise window of 2 minutes. Otherwise, we were going to miss
You're
the
going to
drop
miss the
zone.
drop. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I didn't even know that until on the day. I was like, wow, I got to thread the needle with this one. And even finding a company that would allow that to happen under their banner, finding the individual who was willing to be strapped to my back, like logistically, like pulling off the stunt.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah, pun intended. And then beyond that, it really, really, I believe, is testimony to how much work, how much time, how much effort I've put into developing the craft of storytelling, joke telling, to make it permissible for more than 1,000 people not only to watch me jack off to completion, but to do so joyfully.
Without fainting. Without fainting.
To do so joyfully. And like on a nightly basis, I did that all over the world. In the Deep South. You know, you go to Alabama and try and show everybody a video of you jacking off. Not an easy task. And I did it.
When can we see this? When is it?
That's why I'm here, brother. I'm here to tell everybody you can see it right now. This whole multimedia special, assuming that this comes out after November 14th.
It will, yeah.
There you go. Stevo.com.
So you're going to tour with it, or you did tour with it? You already toured it, and then you're going to put it out there.
Correct.
Oh,
I already toured with it. I taped the special in London, England.
Oh, nice.
My beautiful fiance, who just went through hell for this show to come together. She was the production designer. She came up with the idea, given that it's a multimedia show, that on the stage behind me should be a whole wall of retro TV sets. Mm-hmm. And she sourced well over 100 fully functioning retro TV sets, making a wall 7 feet tall, 24 feet wide, not even including the wings of TV sets. And they're all plugged together and simultaneously.
Wow.
Like
so is it all one image? Like did this?
No, not one image. It went 7 feet high, and at 7 feet high, like a huge LED wall.
And
so the title card for each bit lived on the TV sets. While
that's cool. Oh,
yeah.
That's cool. That's very cool.
Oh man, I couldn't be more thrilled with it.
Well, great. Where in London did you do
At the Hackney Empire.
Oh, I just did that. Well, not just did it, but I did it. I don't know. Back in I don't know. It was shortly before I started the tour.
It's such a beautiful theater.
Awesome.
You
got
4 levels.
Yeah.
Which makes 1,000 people look like way more than 1,000 people.
But they're also because they're like right on top of you, which is nice. It's I like that theater a lot. That's a fun.
It's epic.
That was fun. Yeah.
Of course, there's no air conditioning in England in general.
Yeah.
And this special was taped in July.
Oof. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that might be why 8 people passed out at the taping. I mean, more than usual.
I had people faint again, not because of my material, but on this last tour, like I've had one place, twice in a row. I did shows at the Auto Bar in Baltimore, and both times somebody right up front fainted. Both times.
I couldn't have planted this guy in the second row. He was in the second row, the second seat in from the center aisle. Mm-hmm. And like we got full perfect coverage of it. He's like kind of frantically trying to get by the guy next to him. The guy lets him out and he just right onto his face and slides across the center aisle on his face, face down. And I was like, whoa. People are going to think that I planted the guy, and I so didn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so he was getting out because he knew something was wrong.
And it's crazy how it's like a little bit of a time delay. Like the bit that's going to make the person pass out will have finished, and I'll be into the next bit, and then they'll.
Yeah, it's like when you gotta puke. Sometimes you do a shot and you do it too big, and it makes you puke, and you got a good 4 to 7 seconds to try to steer it somewhere,
In this case, it'll be even like a few minutes.
Really, he's just sitting with that imagery.
Yeah.
I want to clarify something. It's going back to what you said about irrational fears. It's an irrational. I think a roller coaster is an irrational fear. It is not an irrational fear for skydiving or bungee jumping. I mean, that's a more rational fear to me.
Right. Okay. I think bungee jumping they've got pretty dialed in at this point.
Yeah. But even it's same with skydiving, but it's still more of a a
reasonable thing to be afraid of.
Yeah.
And roller coasters are the worst of it. Oh my God, do I hate the fact that
I love roller coasters, and I love skydiving and bungee jumping too. So
skydiving's weird. The way that initially there's that like kind of feeling in your stomach when you begin to fall, but like a moment later you just feel like you're laying on a weird mattress.
They don't tell you that it's really loud. It's extremely loud when you're free falling, really loud. And then when that chute opens and you stop, it's peaceful, quiet, warm. It's really like a lovely meditative thing, and you're looking down. It's beautiful. But they don't really tell you that. It's just you're the first time you do it, you're just thinking of the fear and the adrenaline and falling. And I remember I've done it a couple times, and it's always really loud, extremely loud.
It helped me a lot having that masturbation component, because like it is time to go. It's time to go. You know,
Yeah,
you didn't have to be ready. Didn't have to be ready. It's just, okay.
And this is your first time experiencing any of that. Wow.
Yeah.
So a couple questions. One is, would you go again? Would you do it? Did you find it pleasant enough to do it again?
You know what? I'm faced with putting together my next show, and I've got like a whole series of crash test dummy kind of moments. And I started with I bought a car, just crash into a wall to make sure the airbags worked. And then, I'm moving on to what I call the crash cube. It's just kind of a roll cage that's 4x4x4 with a seat mounted into it. I'm going to do a bunch of different things, but the first one will be I'm sitting in the cube, and it's kind of a lock-off shot, and then just a car comes just screaming through frame and just blasts it out of the frame. And then with the crash cube, I want to be sitting in it and have it just shoved out of an airplane. And
whoa!
And then, like, after it's been shoved out, give it a beat, and then the skydive, people will dive after it, catch up to it, and then pull the parachute. And
dude,
my fiance hates that idea.
Of course.
But with my little kind of producer hat on, I imagine, all right, like, I don't have to be in it for the test. I should like do it without me in it, shove it out, dive down, reset, do it again. You do that 9 times in a row without fail, I'll get in it for the 10th try.
Really? Because the 10th try is usually where things go wrong.
I don't know. I just think, and that makes sense to me. I hate it, but
wow,
I hate it. But
that's fucking ballsy. Yeah, boy, that's extra level. What if you did the skydiving naked, but this time you shit and you just took a dump while you were, and see if it would float with you because the math, it doesn't matter. Newton's law of physics and gravity. So
that one,
the shit would be kind of right here while you were falling down until you pulled the cord. But maybe the shit can have a little parachute on it as well.
When you already did the number 3, going to the number 2 is a step backwards.
That's true. That is true. I haven't heard it referred to as a number 3 before.
that was.
I've just heard it as pulling a Steve-O.
Yeah, that I'm not taking credit for calling it a number 3. I heard that Robert De Niro and Zac Efron had a movie called not Bad Grandpa, but like a Dirty Grandpa.
Yeah.
And it was the De Niro played this really raunchy, dirty grandpa, and Zac Efron in some scene came in, and the grandpa yelled at him. He said, "Oh, come on! I was in the middle of a number 3." And I remembered thinking it was really funny. But yeah, that's just one of my ideas for the next tour.
Wow. Well, I want to. All right, I'll check this out, and it's on your website.
It is on my website, man. Yeah,
okay.
It's Steve-O's bucket list. It is. I had so much fun writing the warning. This contains like illegal, reckless, life-threatening stunts, graphic violence, nudity, and full-on pornography.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also a chance you might pass out, so you're watching it at your own risk.
Wouldn't have it any other way. Yeah. That's It's beautiful. It's a beautiful story. It's
a
full of
love
hope
story,
and
for sure.
a love story. And,
Yeah, it really is.
I want to know how you were able to time it.
I brought a portable DVD player.
Yeah.
That helped.
Mentally. Well, yeah. All right. So you get hard enough to start jerking off, but to
I ate for breakfast
oh boy,
4 erectile dysfunction pills.
so you were even after you came, you were still hard. So when you pulled that cord,
I also abstained from ejaculation for 4 days. So I was.
Well, it's impressive, man. That's a.
I was backed up with a hair trigger.
That's great.
Hopped up on dick pills, and watching porno for the first time in years.
What's your preference?
For I don't know that I have preferences for porn. And again, I stopped watching porno because I think it's destructive to a healthy relationship.
Sure,
but
I agree.
I was never into girl on girl porn. My buddy Chris Pontius described that. He said, "Man, watching lesbian porno is like watching a skateboarding video with nothing but ramps and nobody riding them."
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was good too. I also never really cared for the enormity of the genitalia on the men.
Oh, yeah.
If I had my wish, it would be that there would be a average size penis category.
There's got to be somewhere. They have everything. They
Right.
have everything.
I mean, because the thing is that back to Chris Pontius's point.
Well, he's got a big dick, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah.
He does. But the idea that lesbian porno, it lacks that frame of reference.
Right.
You know, it is like watching ramps and nobody riding them. You know, you want to have that frame of reference that
if you're a heterosexual male, otherwise,
yeah.
my
So
opinion,
it's not like you're not a homo for wanting to have a penis in your porn. You want that as a something to relate to.
Yeah.
And these enormous penises are just not relatable.
Right.
So I think it makes sense that small wiener porn. I want a small wiener category.
Yeah. I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is.
Yeah.
Casey, look up porn, peanut, small peanut, not micro, no, small penis, or average size. We're going to 6-inch. What kind of girth, Steve-O? Give me a average girth, and send me the link to my phone. All right. Now, Steve-O, we're gonna wrap it up here, and you've been a treat, an absolute pleasure.
Well, thanks, man. Likewise.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
I'm a fan, dude. That
was fun to do your
yeah.
in Brooklyn. That was a I didn't know what to expect at all.
Right.
I didn't expect you to get so political and topical.
Right.
I was not. I mean, I rolled with it, but I wasn't expecting. You're a very thoughtful person.
Well, I mean, what I've found you to be.
Abrasive, condescending.
Pretty quick to establish your position, your opinion, take a stand on politics, and it seemed that you just really throw caution to the wind when it comes to the idea of alienating people over taking political opinions.
Oh yeah, I don't give a shit about that at all.
Right, so that made me interested to talk about it, and I went ahead and alienated my audience.
I can't tell you how many times I'll do. I've done the Jim Norton's Sirius show, and I've done it Jim and Sam, and I've done it probably 4 or 5 times. I love Jim, love those guys. I have a good time on there, but always. When I'm looking at comments, people are like, "That motherfucker is the most unfunny asshole." Like, I hate that guy. They'll still have me on because they like me, but they're like, I'll go and do stuff, and people are like, "Fuck that asshole."
Right.
Okay. So, Steve-O, I end every show with a question from my daughter.
Okay, good.
She's 6, and these are legit questions. I asked her, like, hey, I'm going to be talking to some folks on this podcast. And so, Steve-O, the question for you from Marlo is, when you cry, why do teardrops come out of your eyes?
I think if I were... I don't have a biological reason. I just have a theory as to what purpose they serve, which is to... I think that our creator was aware that we weren't going to be rigorously honest as a species, and so anticipating fake crying, tears were built in as a veracity.
Wow.
A measure of proof of authenticity.
Wow, interesting.
It's an extra layer, and it was something that evolved because actually the deception came in first, and we evolved to have that layer of
Proof.
Yeah.
Wow. So I certainly would never tell her that, but what about onions when you cry from onions?
I think raw onions are my kryptonite. They're up there with roller coasters, man. I fucking hate that shit.
Is it? You mean cutting raw onions or eating them?
Eating them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and you
It's
don't
so
like a
weird
nice pico de gallo?
That's a little bit more kind of like lost in the mix, but
Well, who's eating just onions on their own?
well, I mean, like when they sneak onto a burger, that big thing,
I see.
So I'm a hypocrite every time I order my my Impossible Whopper at Burger King. I say I want the Impossible Whopper meal with no onions on the Whopper, but let me switch the fries for onion rings.
No, that doesn't make you a hypocrite because the
Right,
onions
it's the raw
are raw,
factor, yeah.
and then so you like a good onion ring.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm not proud of my
it's not
Burger King habit.
hypocritical though.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't worry about that.
Not hypocritical, but it's counterintuitive.
You said okay. I'll give you that. You've said so many more offensive things. Than this.
I love it. Like I'll get home, honey, whether or not we put out that Cameo video, the damage is done.
Yeah, there you go. Now, Steve-O, I got you this hat. It's just
Cool,
for you.
man.
I got this just for you. This is
Nice.
Look at it. I'm guessing on the size. It says Los Angeles.
Oh man, I love it, dude. I love it. It bothers me that hats so often have that adjustable thing on the back.
Like this thing.
Yeah. I don't want that.
Is it? But I guessed on the.
Hey, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there
that?
Is there something?
How about that, camera one?
I'm missing. Am I missing what's funny about it, or is it just like a cool, thoughtful gift?
Yeah, it's a cool, thoughtful gift.
I love it, dude.
Now it looks like you have cancer that you're covering up or something because of the way the hat is. Yeah, there you go.
I'll just do it very straight and straight-laced.
Okay, and you can
All
do
right.
whatever you want with that hat.
I love it, dude.
Okay.
I've been looking through. I have a number of hats, and they all have that adjustable thing on them. Like, ugh,
Well,
every
you're welcome.
time.
Thank you, Steve-O.
Hey, thank you, bro.
That was a Headgum podcast.